Here as elsewhere, pathology is a precious ancillary to physiology. Look at the deviant case and you'll understand the normal case. Look at the abnormal forms of the division of labour and you will understand the normal forms. And there are three abnormal forms: the anomic, the forced, and the discontinuous division of labour. Look, he's arguing first obviously against Marx and Engels. Marx and Engels say division of labour, that is going to lead to conflict. It's inherent too. It's the normal form of division of labour gives rise to conflict. Whereas Durkheim said, no, it's only the abnormal form that gives rise to conflict. The true division of labour, let division of labour be truly such, and then we'll have solidarity. So the big question is, what is this true division of labour? Yes, indeed. All right. And he's also, you will see on page 294, 295, having an argument against a fellow called Comte, Auguste Comte, very famous sociologist who predated Durkheim, and is the true father of sociology, the Auguste Comte. Anyway, Durkheim's having an argument with Comte, and Comte also says the division of labour leads to conflict and dispersion and fragmentation and disorganization. And Durkheim says back to Comte, he says, no, you're wrong too. And when you suggest that somehow the state should, when Comte says the state should gather together society and reunify it because the division of labour is dispersive, Durkheim says, no, we've just got to let the division of labour be itself. The state has got to let the division of labour be its true self, and then we will get solidarity. Well, you can read the pages on Comte, but he basically is arguing against Comte. Okay. Any questions before I move on to the anomic division of labour, the first abnormal form? Essentially what Durkheim is saying here is that division of labour, yes, under certain circumstances will lead to conflict, the abnormal form, but normally it's going to lead to the normal form, the true form, is going to lead to solidarity. Lauren? Comte. Well, yeah, Comte says division of labour leads to dispersion, because people specialise, they get dispersed. He says that this leads to disorganisation. And so Comte says, in order to counteract that, because he doesn't like it, he's a Frenchman, he wants to build solidarity too, he says you counteract it with the state, or you counteract it with philosophy. And Durkheim says you can't counteract anything with the state. The state can only express something. And you can't counteract it with philosophy either. You've got to really work with the division of labour, let the division of labour truly be the division of labour, and you'll get solidarity. So he's saying to Comte, you misunderstand the power of division of labour to produce solidarity itself. Now, what we've got to figure out is under what conditions will it really produce that solidarity. And that's what this whole book 3 is about. Oh man, you look very worried.
No, I was kind of confused because I thought that he was advocating the use of the state in regulating relations.
Yeah, he's saying that the state is necessary to regulate relations among the parts, but it cannot produce solidarity in and of itself. It can only create the conditions for the division of labour to produce solidarity.
So he's in support of the state getting involved in the social relations?
Yes, he's getting involved. So basically regulates contracts between management and workers, between husband and wife, to regulate them in a way that you get complementary differences that lead to solidarity. But the state doesn't produce the solidarity, it actually just creates the conditions for the production of solidarity. So the state is, and some people think the state is there to produce solidarity. No, it's to provide the conditions for the production. The solidarity really comes out of the division of labour and only out of the division of labour. Okay? Very good. Very good, very good, very good. Phew, phew. Anomic division of labour. Any idea? We had this discussion before, didn't we? Somebody just came up with a quick definition of anomie. I remember. A few weeks ago. Who was it? Somebody. Anomie division of labour. Anybody says anomie? No, anomie. Come on, you've got to... Yes, Nicole. State of normlessness. What were you going to say, Elizabeth? Sorry? Somebody had what? Oh, yeah, somewhere in the back there. You remember the place? Yes. State of deregulation, state of normlessness, very good. State of, almost chaos for Durkheim, when there's not clear that there are any norms, any rules, not clear what they are, not clear that there's sometimes norms are in conflict with one another. Does anybody know anything about, anybody can experience anomie in their lives at any time? There's been a tension, not clear what norms to follow, what rules to follow. Matthew?
I went to India when I was a teenager, and I was really confused because people expected me to act one way.
Here's the confused guy. Yeah, he comes from the United States of America, he goes to India, and he gets confused because he's caught between different rules. The rules with which he came with and the rules with which people expect. So he's in a sort of, confused state. Anybody else been in a confused state? Oh, you're lucky people. Nobody been in any sort of transitional state? Yes, Sonny?
So
So it's a similar thing. Okay, what happens when you take bong? Come on! Does that sort of create normlessness or normfulness? I don't know. You tell me. Lilia. Why not? You seem like a sort of... Okay, right. Nobody has been in a state of confusion. And yes. Oh, who are you? You look familiar.
I'm
Marilyn.
I taught in Ecuador, and I know Spanish, but that's not the first language either, so I teach them English. And Spanish I knew was even difficult for them, so I was confused how to teach them grammar in Spanish and English.
Okay, that's very confusing. Yes. Jason?
It wasn't a personal experience, but I think if you ever seen the Borat movie, it really has.
I'm missing a lot here. Yes.
Mormons are less successful, and even some crazy stereotypical immigrant guy was successful behavior.
Well, immigrants are obviously classically seen to be in a state of, which is what your example says, of normlessness. They come from one country and they and they find themselves in another country. They're not sure what rules to follow. This is the stereotypical view. That's why they're so disorganized, though it is said in the newspapers and sometimes even in books. Yes, Christy?
I think my experience in adolescence.
Adolescence.
And when I graduated from college this spring, I think that's going to...
Yes. Now what is these? These are moments of transition. Very good, Christy. Moments of transition in one's life. It's not just movement from one place to another, but actually transitional moments. And people say that adolescents are so disorganized and confused and rebellious because they're in a state of anomie and confusion. Now, adolescents themselves have a very different view of this. But nevertheless, this is the Durkheimian view that people in a state of transition, whether it's from place to place or from one stage of life to another, are in a state of normlessness and therefore disorganized. And you get collective struggles and social movements when people are disorganized. This is the Durkheimian perspective. It's not actually a very popular perspective in sociology today. But many people conventionally, stereotypically explain protest, outbursts, struggles, fires by people being in a state of normlessness, in a state of transition. Okay, very good. Now, Durkheim says that you get states of normlessness when? He actually says on page 292. When does Durkheim say you get states of normlessness, states of deregulation? Anybody pick it up? 292 is the opening page, isn't it? 292. No, it's not. It's section 1. Section 1. What does he say, the first line? Sienna.
The first case of this nature is provided for by industrial and commercial crisis. By the bankruptcies there are so many partial breaks in organic solidarity.
Yeah. Then the next paragraph, first sentence.
Hostility between labor and capital is another example, a more striking one of the same kind.
Right, he's saying that these are moments of crisis, economic crisis. And he's saying, these are commercial crisis, struggles between capital and labor. These are moments of anomie, unusual moments, exceptional moments. The unusual moments, exceptional moments, they will go away. What would Marx say? Hands up, what would Marx say? Yes, Katie?
He says they'll escalate.
They will escalate. They certainly are typical and actually characteristic of capitalism. They're not going to go away.Ey're not short-lived. They're not ephemeral. They're not just some transitional moments. Durkheim is saying that when we finally get to organic solidarity, crises will somehow disappear. This is only a mark of transition. Yes. So basically what Durkheim is saying is that the anomic division of labor, that is the division of labor that involves a sense of deregulation, of the absence of any clear norms, that this is a moment of transition. The anomic division of labor corresponds to transition. Transition of society, leading to economic crises, transition of individuals between one country and another, immigrants, for example, transitions in people's lives, all lead to anomie. But the true anomic division of labor corresponds to transition of society. And once the transition is over, then the anomic division of labor will no longer exist. So an anomic division of labor is basically an abnormal form that is due to transition in society. Yes. And so, therefore, to get rid of the anomic division of labor, you just have to get over the what? Juliana, over the what? Over the transition. You have to just let the division of labor settle down. Very good. Yes, Matthew? What's the parallel?
And when we were talking about Marx last semester, and you were talking about competitive capitalism versus organized capitalism, it sounds to me that he's basically saying the economic division of labor is competitive capitalism, and then it goes towards organized.
Yes, there is some sense of that, but we'll have to get a big picture before you can actually address this question. Get the big picture. But yeah, that's a good thing to have in your head. Does the organized capitalism in some sense get over the transition? Well, of course, for Marx and Engels, crises never disappear. Right. But anyway, that's an interesting parallel, which we'll move on to when we get the whole picture on Thursday. Yes, Josephine?
I just wanted to think Durkheim will see this very moment as a moment. I mean, we don't know sure.
Well, that's right. We presumably, we are in a state of enormous uncertainty because of the impending crisis. Of course, the crisis it's interesting because it hits different sectors of the population at different times in different ways. So, but sometimes a crisis can engulf the entire society. And that's what, of course, Obama is trying to tell us. He's trying to tell us the crisis is around the corner. And therefore, we must have a big stimulus package. Right? I mean, so yes, yes, one could say that. But I don't know if we feel we're yet in a state of normlessness. I think it's still going to get a bit deeper. But yes, keep your eyes out for behavior that suggests normlessness. Chaotic, disorganized, protest. That's what Durkheim would look for.
So what would be the potential transition?
Oh, well, no. Yes, well, we'll see what organic solidarity, the potential transition, we'll see what this organic solidarity implies. That's where we haven't got there yet, but we will. That's all in the fourth division of labour, which you must read, and I've only got 2 more minutes, so I'm going to finish this. Christy, no. You're going to read this out. Yes, don't shut your book yet. This is most important. This is the most important passage in the entire book. In fact, I'm going to read it out. It's so important. It's on page 307. This is when we begin to understand the meaning of organic solidarity. Okay, Dan. This you have to concentrate on. This represents the true organic solidarity on the bottom of page 307. Are you ready? Everybody ready? Sienna, you ready? Okay, I'm going. Last paragraph. What resolves this contradiction is the fact that, contrary to what has been said, the division of labour does not produce these consequences through some imperative of its own nature, does not produce conflict through some imperative of its own nature, does not produce struggle and protest through some imperative of its own nature, but only in exceptional and abnormal circumstances. For it to be able to develop without having so disastrous an influence on the human consciousness, there is no need to mitigate it by means of its opposite. Don't counteract the division of labour with the state or some new fangled consciousness, but no, just let the division of labour be itself. It is necessary and sufficient for it to be itself, for nothing to come from outside to deform its nature. And now, listen to this. For normally, the operation of each special function demands that the individual should not be too closely shut up in it, but should keep in constant contact with neighbouring functions. That as you are a worker putting a pinhead on the pin stalk, you should be aware of those making the pins. You should be aware of your fellow workers on the assembly line. Yes, becoming aware of their needs and the change that take place in them. The division of labour supposes that the worker, far from being bent over his task, does not lose sight of those cooperating with him, but acts upon them and is acted upon by them. That there is continual interaction between these specialised labourers. He is not therefore a machine who repeats movements, the sense of which he does not perceive. He is not stupefied, as Adam Smith said. But he knows that they are tending his minute behaviours, actions. He knows that they are tending in a certain direction towards a goal that he can conceive of more or less distinctly. He knows he's contributing to what? To making that pin. He feels that he is of some use. For this, he has no need to take in very vast areas of the social horizon. He does not have to develop a class consciousness. Oh, no. It is enough for him to perceive enough of it, to understand that his actions have a goal beyond themselves. He must know that putting that pinhead on the pin has a project, has a goal beyond that pinhead. It is in the production of the pin. Have a goal beyond that. Thenceforth, however specialized, however uniform his activity may be, it is that of an intelligent being, for he knows that his activity has a meaning. The economists would not have left this essential characteristic of the division of labour unclarified, and as a result would not have lain it open to this undeserved reproach, if they had not reduced it to being only a way of increasing the efficiency of social forces, but had seen it above all as a source of solidarity. The economists see the division of labour as increasing efficiency. Durkheim says it produces an independence of solidarity, a sense of unity with others. As we specialize, we have a sense of a common project. That is what we're doing in this class, a sense of a common project. That is the meaning of organic solidarity. And therefore, next time we will talk about that. And Book 2, Chapter 2, and the conclusion, and Book Chapter 3. You are liberated to go your dispersed ways. Thank you.
You should do them more like this. Only without the commentaries in the class.
Yes. Oh, no, that's not much fun. You think I should just lecture like that, huh?
Yeah, good. Best one this semester.
Oh, you think, huh? Well, I don't like doing that, leaving you all alone. Yes.